my friends. Take a moment. Imagine you are sitting in a small cafe in the morning. The street outside is still quiet. A warm cup is in your hands, and soft light comes through the window. Imagine a clock on the wall. It says 8 o'clock. Your phone says 8 o'clock too. Imagine someone far away in another city, also looking at a clock. For them, the sun may be high, or the sky may already be dark. Imagine the sound of a train in the distance. Its wheels sing on the metal tracks. It is ready to leave, but what time should it follow? Have you ever stopped to wonder why the world is cut into time zones? Where did they come from? Why is it not the same time everywhere? How did people agree on this? Can you imagine a world where every town had its own time? What would happen to trains, ships, and letters? Here is the surprising truth, my friends. For most of history, time was local. It belonged to the sun, the town, and the church bell. Today, we will travel across time and across places, from quiet villages to busy train stations, in simple, clear English. Our first stop is long ago, before fast travel. Picture a small town. The roads are slow. People walk, ride horses, or travel by cart. Life moves with the sky. When the sun rises, people wake. When the sun is high, it is noon. When the sun goes down, work stops. In those days, time was not a world system. It was a local habit. A town looked at the sun and set its clock. Another town, not far away, did the same thing. But there was a small problem. The sun does not stand over every town at the same moment. So noon in one town could be a little different from noon in another town. Was this a big problem? Not yet. If you walked from one town to the next, the difference was small, maybe a few minutes, maybe more. But your feet were slow, so the clock did not feel dangerous. Say it with me. Time was local. People did not need perfect time. They needed useful time. The farmer needed morning light. The baker needed the heat of the oven. The church needed the bell. The market needed people to arrive before the food was gone. My friends, imagine a village square. A bell rings. A woman closes her basket. A man lifts a sack of flour. Children run through the dust. The clock is not just a machine. It is the heartbeat of the town. But the world was not going to stay slow forever. Now let us travel to the age of better clocks. For many centuries, people tried to measure time more clearly. They used sundials, water clocks, and later mechanical clocks. A sundial uses the shadow of the sun. A mechanical clock uses moving parts. In simple words, it is a clock with wheels, springs, and careful hands. These clocks helped people keep time indoors and at night. They also helped towns become more ordered. Markets opened at set hours. Workers arrived at set times. Travelers planned their day, but there was still one big truth. Every town could still keep its own time. Imagine a clockmaker in a narrow street. His room smells of oil and metal. Small wheels lie on the table. He bends close to a clock and listens. Tick, tick, tick. He is not trying to make time the same for the whole world. He is trying to make this clock work well for this town. And that was enough. Or was it? Have you ever missed a bus because you read the time wrong? Now, imagine missing a train because one town says 10 o'clock, but the next town says 10:15. Not funny for the traveler. Maybe a little funny for the horse, because the horse does not care. This brings us to our first great turning point. The world began to move faster. Roads improved. Ships crossed oceans. Letters traveled farther. People wanted news, goods, and money to move from place to place. The world felt larger, but also closer. Then came the train. My friends, imagine a train station in the 19th century. Steam rises like a gray cloud. People hold bags, boxes, and letters. A whistle cries in the air. The platform shakes as the engine breathes. The train was a machine of speed. It could carry people and goods much faster than horses. It made cities feel nearer. It helped food, coal, mail, and workers travel across long distances. But there was a problem. The train needed a schedule. A schedule is a plan of times. It tells when something starts and when it arrives. Without a clear schedule, travel becomes messy. If every town used its own time, what should the train company print on the ticket? The time of the starting city? The time of the next city? The time of the train office? Can you imagine a board at a station with 10 different clocks? One for this town, one for the next town, one for the capital, one for the railway company. Your train leaves at 9, but 9 where? Repeat after me. The train needed order. This was not only confusing, it could be unsafe. Trains moved on tracks. 2 trains could not safely meet on the same line at the wrong moment. A few minutes could matter. So railway companies began to look for a new answer. They did not want every town to choose its own time. They wanted one railway time. In some places, railway time became more important than town time. Station clocks helped people learn it. At first, many people did not love this change. Why should a train company tell a town what time it was? The sun was still in the sky. The old town clock still stood in the square. Local time felt natural, railway time felt strange, but useful things often spread. When people saw that one shared time made travel easier, they began to accept it. Letters could move better, goods could arrive on time, passengers could plan with less fear. This was the beginning of a bigger change. Not full world time yet, not modern time zones yet, but the idea was growing. Time could be shared across distance. In the next chapter, we travel from railway clocks to a world map. How did people draw lines across the earth and say, "Here, the time changes"? Who helped this idea spread? And how did the world move from local bells to global time? Now let us travel from the station platform to the wide world. Imagine a map on a wooden table. The paper is old and pale. A hand moves across oceans, mountains, and cities. Lines are drawn not like roads, but like quiet rules for time. The earth turns every day. As it turns, the sun seems to move across the sky. Morning reaches one place before another. Noon does not arrive everywhere at once. This is simple when life is slow, but it becomes difficult when messages, ships, and trains move fast. So people began to ask a big question. Could the world share a better time plan? Have you ever looked at a world map and seen tall lines from north to south? These are called meridians. A meridian is an imaginary line. It is not a road. It is not a wall. It is a line people use to measure position on Earth. One important line became the starting line for world time. It passes through Greenwich in London. Many countries later used this line as the main reference. In simple words, it helped people count time around the world. My friends, imagine Greenwich on a cool day. The sky is soft and gray. People look at instruments and stars. Ships need direction. Travelers need maps. Time is not just about breakfast anymore. Time is about finding your place on the sea. This was another turning point. Ships had long needed careful time. At sea, sailors had to know where they were. Good clocks helped them compare time on the ship with time at a known place. That could help them understand their position. It was not easy, and many people worked for many years to improve it. But trains made the problem part of daily life. A sailor might cross the ocean. A train passenger might cross several towns before lunch. So the time problem came closer to ordinary people. Try this phrase. I need the schedule. The idea of time zones grew from this need. Instead of every town keeping its own time, large areas could share one standard time. Standard time means official time used by many people in one area. Imagine a long country with many towns. The sun reaches the eastern towns first. It reaches the western towns later. If each town follows the sun exactly, clocks change again and again. But if the whole area uses one standard time, trains and offices can work more easily. Was this perfect? No. Some places were still not happy. Local noon no longer always matched the clock. In some towns, the sun might feel a little early or a little late. People had to learn a new idea. Clock time and sun time are not always the same. Can you imagine an old man looking at the sky and saying that clock is wrong? And maybe in his own way, he was right. The sun had not changed. The rule had changed. But the new rule helped the growing world. Now let us travel to a meeting room where people talked about time. Records suggest that in the late 19th century, leaders and experts from many places discussed a more organized world time system. They wanted a common reference for maps, travel, and communication. We do not need every detail today. The important idea is clear. The world was becoming connected, and time needed a shared language. Say it with me. Shared time connects people. This does not mean every country changed at once. No, my friends. Human habits do not move like a train. They move more like a river, sometimes fast, sometimes slow, sometimes around stones. Some countries accepted standard time early. Others waited. Some changed the rules later. Some drew time zone lines in special ways because of borders, islands, trade, or politics. A time zone is a region that uses the same clock time. The lines are not always straight. On a clean school map, they may look simple. In real life, they bend around countries and choices. Imagine flying over the earth at night. Cities shine like small fires. Below you, people are sleeping, eating, working, calling, waiting. Their clocks are not all the same, but the system helps them speak to each other. If your friend says, "Call me at 6, you must ask, 6 in your place or 6 in my place?" Have you ever had this problem? Many of us have. Modern life still carries the old-time question in a new form. Now let us travel into the age of telegraphs and messages. Before phones and the internet, the telegraph helped people send messages over wires. A telegraph was a machine for sending short signals. In simple words, it was a fast way to send words before voice calls became common. Imagine a small office. A worker sits at a desk. The room is warm from lamps. A machine clicks quickly. A message arrives from far away. The message may travel faster than a train. It may cross a long distance in moments. But then another question appears. What time was the message sent? What time was it received? Which clock should people trust? The telegraph made time feel even smaller. Distance was still real, but communication jumped over it. This pushed people again towards standard time. Here is the pattern, my friends. First, local life worked with local time. Then trains needed railway time. Then ships, maps, and messages needed wider time. Step by step, time changed from a village habit into a world system. But there was still a human side. Imagine a family in a small town. The father works near the station. The mother sells food at the market. A child watches the station clock and the town clock. One says one thing, one says another. Which clock is home? Which clock tells the truth? The answer slowly became. Both tell a kind of truth. The sun tells natural time. The clock tells shared time. The first belongs to the sky. The second belongs to people working together. Repeat after me. The clock helps us meet. This is a gentle thought. Time zones are not just lines, they are agreements. People agree so they can travel, trade, call, study, and arrive. But every agreement has a cost. Some places live with sunrise very early. Some places live with sunset very late. Some countries choose one time for a large land. Others use many time zones. Some places even change their clocks during part of the year. That is called daylight saving time. It means clocks move forward or back to use daylight in a different way. Not everyone likes it. Many people still argue about it. Have you ever felt confused when the clock changes? 1 hour can feel small, but your body may say, "Excuse me, what happened?" Light humor aside, the reason is serious. People are always trying to make time fit life. In the next chapter, we move into the modern world. Phones, planes, online meetings, and global work make time zones part of everyday life. But they also bring us back to the same old question. How do we share one world while living under different skies? Now let us travel into the world many of us know. Imagine an airport at night. The floor shines under bright lights. People pull small bags behind them. A child sleeps on a suitcase. A screen shows cities far away. One flight leaves at midnight. Another arrives in the morning. But morning where? Midnight where? My friends, this is the modern life of time zones. We cross borders in planes. We send messages in seconds. We meet people on screens. The clock on the wall is no longer enough. We need to understand the clock in another place too. Have you ever opened your phone and checked the time in another country? Have you ever waited for a call from someone far away? Have you ever joined an online meeting and thought, is it today for me or tomorrow for them? This is where time zones become part of our daily language. Try this phrase. What time is it there? Simple words, but very useful. Imagine a student in Vietnam listening to English in the evening. At the same moment, a teacher in another country may be drinking morning coffee. Their skies are different, but their voices can meet. The time zone system helps make that meeting possible. But there was another turning point. The internet made distance feel even smaller. Before the internet, people planned by letters, train tables, ship times, and phone calls. Now, a message can travel around the world almost at once. A video can be watched in many countries. A live class can bring people together from different nights and mornings. But this also brings a new problem. When everything is fast, time mistakes are easy. A meeting at 10 may be 10 for one person and midnight for another. A deadline may close while someone is sleeping. A message may arrive at a bad hour, not because someone is rude, but because the world is wide. So modern tools learn to help us. Phones show world clocks. Calendars change meeting times for each person. Flight tickets show local departure and arrival times. Computers use special time rules behind the screen. This is called coordination. That means people and systems work together smoothly. Say it with me. We share time carefully. Still, my friends, time zones are not magic. They are human choices. Countries can change them. Governments can decide to use one time or many times. Some places can stop changing clocks. Some can start again. The map of time is living. It can move when people choose a new rule. This may feel strange. We often think time is fixed, like a mountain. But clock time is also a kind of agreement. The earth turns. The sun rises. That part is nature. But the number on the clock is a rule we make. Imagine standing on a hill at sunrise. The sky becomes orange. Birds begin to call. No one has to explain the morning to you. Your eyes understand it. Then imagine opening your phone. It says 6. That number is helpful. But it is not the sunrise itself. It is our way to hold the morning in a small shape. That is the beautiful thing about time zones. They show both nature and human need. We look at the sky, and then we build a system so trains, planes, ships, schools, hospitals, and families can work together. Can you imagine modern travel without them? A pilot would have a hard day. A train station would become a puzzle. Your calendar might look like a bowl of noodles. Warm noodles are nice. Confused calendars are not. Now let us make a small full-circle journey. At the beginning, time was local. A town listened to its own bell. People looked at their own sun. Time felt close to home. Then trains came. They carried people faster than before. They needed order. Then ships, maps, telegraphs, and world meetings pushed the idea wider. Time became standard. The world drew zones. Now, in a surprising way, we are local again. Your phone can show the time in your city, your friend's city, and a place you have never visited. We live with world time in our pockets, but we still wake under one local sky. The idea has returned to us in a new form. Imagine an old village clock and a modern phone sitting on the same table. The clock ticks slowly. The phone glows quietly. One belongs to the town square. One belongs to the world, but both ask the same question. When should we meet? Repeat after me. Time helps us meet. This is why the history of time zones is not only about clocks. It is about travel. It is about trust. It is about people trying to arrive together. A train must meet the platform. A ship must meet the harbor. A message must meet the right hour. A family call must meet 2 different evenings, or 1 evening and 1 morning. And for English learners, my friends, time zones also teach a useful lesson. Words are like clocks. They help us meet other people. When you listen, repeat, and shadow, you are building your own bridge across distance. Try this phrase. Let's meet at noon. It is a small sentence, but inside it, there is a long history. There are village bells, railway stations, steam engines, ocean maps, telegraph wires, airport screens, and quiet phones beside beds. Have you ever thought a simple sentence could carry so much? The next time you see a clock, take a moment. The next time you check the time in another country, take a moment. The next time a train leaves on time, or your phone changes a meeting time for you, take a moment. Behind that small number, there is a long journey. There is the sun above old fields. There is steam in a busy station. There is a map on a wooden table. There is a message crossing the world. There is someone far away, living under a different light, ready to speak with you. And maybe that is the gentle heart of time zones. They remind us that we do not all stand in the same morning, but we can still find a shared moment. So, my friends, when your clock says one thing and the world says another, smile a little. Time may be serious, but it also has a playful side. After all, it once made every town believe it was the center of noon.